One of the biggest barriers to manifestation is the need to know exactly how or when your desire will appear. When you get caught up in these details, you create tension, blocking the natural unfolding of your desires. But letting go of the need to know how and when is easy to say, and for many of us, hard to do. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that so that your manifestations can appear quickly and without hindrance. Some of today's content is with a grateful nod to the work of the late great Louise Hay, although if you know me, I may not always agree with her 100%. Sorry, Louise. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Trevor, and when I was in my 20s and 30s, Louise Hay was one of the authors I studied in an attempt to figure out how to end my own misery and struggles, particularly in the areas of love and money. Her work turned out to be a stepping stone on a 30-year journey that led me through the jungle of the law of attraction, along with Zen Buddhism, NLP, and a host of other techniques and philosophies about where happiness and success come from. Today, I'm happy to report that I have a wonderful and contented life with a loving relationship at its center and money flowing easily. In the end, perhaps paradoxically, I found that techniques such as visualization don't help because they involve effort and learning, as if we were back at school using the part of our conscious brain that we used to learn geography or maths, neither of which I was particularly good at, by the way. When it comes to manifesting, that's not the right tool to be using. You can't think your way to things manifesting, even if you can visualize better than Walt Disney. Manifesting, it turns out, happens as effortlessly as blinking. It's us that make it difficult. We'll explore some aspects of that idea in this video, but if you'd like a deeper dive into the whole conversation about effortless manifesting, then please check out my Law of Attraction Demystified Club. As well as some deep dive videos, there's also a discussion forum where you can ask questions and chat with me as well as other members. There's a link at the top of the description below this video. All right, let's take a look at how to let go so that manifesting can occur. I phrased it that way deliberately. It's like a gardener might plant some runner beans. No gardening manual would tell you to go out every day and keep looking at the seedlings, and definitely there'd be no instruction to tug at them. Louise Hay talks about relaxing into the flow of life and allowing your intentions to unfold naturally. It's great advice, but I remember being tormented by ideas of being unloved and perhaps unlovable after my disastrous marriage ended and then a subsequent relationship broke up, along with a deep hole of debt that both terrified me and severely limited my life. I couldn't even afford an evening out with friends. How do you relax into the flow of a life like that? Louise's next instruction is not to become so focused on the end result that you fail to enjoy the journey along the way. But in that state, I detested the journey. The end result was the only light I could create in my mind, and I clung to it tighter than a limpet on a rock. Although it took me many years to see it, here's how you can easily do it. Take a step back for a moment. We're trying to manifest change, right? For me, I wanted more money, and at the time I wanted my girlfriend back. I wanted those things because I thought they'd restore my happiness and peace of mind. Oh, hold on. Happiness and peace of mind. That's what I really wanted. Isn't that what you want too? I mean, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are. I've told you what mine were, and yours are probably totally different. But if you take a moment to contemplate whatever it is you're trying to manifest, isn't it because you want happiness and peace of mind? It's money, you say. What will you do with it? Stuff it under the mattress? Will that make you happy? Recently, somebody asked me about manifesting a lottery win because, this person said, then you'd have financial security forever. disregarding the fact that many lottery winners end up more broke than before they won, the idea completely misses the truth about financial security. Consider the case I heard about of a man who sought out life coaching because he wanted to stop worrying about money. It turned out that this guy's net worth was estimated to be about $60 million. $60 million! When the coach asked him why on earth he would be worried about money when he had that much, the guy said that worrying that he could lose it all tomorrow kept him awake at night. Financial security has nothing to do with your bank balance and everything to do with your state of mind. I have never won the lottery. I don't even buy tickets nowadays, but I definitely have financial security. That's because I know that I can always get money whenever I need it. Money flows, which means it comes and goes. I firmly believe that if I had had a big lottery win, and that line of thinking was certainly one I entertained when money was a struggle, I'd have burned through it all in a short amount of time. Not because of recklessness, but because I wouldn't have understood how easily money can come to you, and I'd have held on to that lump of cash for dear life, because I'd still have been afraid of running out. But there's a bigger point here. Money is not the cause of happiness or security, and it cannot be. The best analogy I know to illustrate this is of the screaming, tantrum-throwing toddler. No matter what anyone says, he will not calm down. And then, after what seems like forever, some grown-up has the smart idea of giving him his favourite teddy bear. Within seconds, the bear clutched tight to his tear-stained cheek, the sobbing subsides and then stops. Now, it looks to any outside observer that the source of the placation is the bear. And yet we could take that bear and x-ray it. We'd find it full of nothing but some kind of stuffing. There's no part of the toy bear that can possibly cause a child to calm down. The calming doesn't come from the bear. It comes from the child's feelings and thoughts about the bear. To put that more succinctly, it comes from the child. Now, fast forward, let's say 20 years, and substitute money for the bear. Is the money causing peace of mind, security, or happiness? Money is metal coins, paper, notes, and digital numbers. I have metal cutlery in my kitchen drawer, paper in my printer, and as many numbers as I want on a calculator. All are very useful, but I assure you none of them cause me happiness. I know I'm being a bit facetious, but it's to make a point. Any happiness, security, or peace of mind are inside jobs, which also means that unhappiness, insecurity, and any form of anxiety you care to name are also inside jobs. Now, I realise that I'm in danger of being accused of saying that undesirable things that go bump in the night are your fault, which I'm definitely not saying. What I am saying is the best news you could possibly have. Because if something's outside you, like the weather, let's say, then you have no control over it. But if you know where worry, loneliness, insecurity, or anything you don't want is coming from, and it's inside you, suddenly you not only have a choice, but you can change it instantly. I'll come back to how to do this before the end of the video. However, it's not your fault. We've all grown up in a world where it looks very much as though outside things cause our feelings, which mean they're also responsible for our behaviour and the decisions we make. Let's go back to Louise Hay's teachings for a moment. As well as telling us to relax into the flow of life, she was also very hot on bringing your awareness to the present moment and on tuning in to higher guidance. I want to put these things together because what I found is that each one flows naturally from the other. Imagine I have a time machine and I can go back 30 or so years knowing what I know now and give my former self some help. I'd find myself gnashing my teeth and tearing my hair out with worry about money. I had more hair in those days, so maybe that explains my current situation hair-wise. My older, bolder self would say this. Right now, what are your thoughts? I'd reply, I don't know how I'm going to get out of all this debt. I can't earn any more. I'm too exhausted physically and emotionally to take a second job. I just don't know what I'm going to do. I can't see any way out of this. It's just a black hole. Now, in my old therapy days, because I used to be a psychotherapist, I might have suggested looking into the black hole or something like that, but not now. Instead, I'd say, I want you to spend a few moments just watching those thoughts. Don't try to change them, just notice them. Let them be there. Let them be free to come and go as they please. By giving my younger self that instruction, I immediately do two things. I bring him into the present moment, one tick from Louise for that, and I detach him from his thoughts. Try it, you can do this, anyone can. It won't make the problem go away, but it enables you to step back from it, even if it's only for a few seconds. It's all you need. The magic is in the noticing. You're no longer attaching yourself to your thoughts. You realize that the true you is, in fact, the noticer. And as you do that thought noticing, your mind will, all by itself, get quieter. Again, it may be so fleeting and so very subtle that you're not even aware of it happening, but it will. And then, in that tiniest, maybe imperceptible quiet gap, higher guidance can and will come through. It could be anything. Sometimes it's been a line from a song. I met my wonderful wife in 2006 in a country thousands of miles away, all because I noticed a line from a song that popped into my head. But that's a story for another day. It might be a brainwave, or just an indicator to do nothing right now, or, well, anything, or even nothing. I don't want to tell you what to expect because the danger is you'll try to make it happen or think it isn't working for you if it isn't exactly what I said it would be. Everyone's experience is different, and every experience is different even for the same person, if you see what I mean. So, notice, allow the quiet to happen, and allow yourself to be curious to see what pops up. As for the timing, once you have peace of mind, the urgency goes. By the same token, as even a moment of peace returns to your mind, you immediately unblock the flow of energy, allowing manifest to happen easily and perhaps sooner. So that's a double whammy. In any case, since you can't fix it by thinking about it or by scrunching up your face and attempting to use willpower, so why not try this? You literally have nothing to lose. I can tell you that although I don't remember what wisdom must have at some point broken through to my troubled mind at the time, it all came good in the end. Even at my lowest, even at my most desperate, things showed up, coincidences occurred, new people and opportunities presented themselves, none of which I could have predicted or visualized, even remotely imagined in a million years. The universe, aka life, took care of me, and it will do the same for you. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, if you'd like to get involved in more of the conversation about effortless manifesting and explore some of the issues that arise out of watching videos like this one, please check out the Law of Attraction Demystified Club by clicking the link in the description below this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in another video.